The crystal chandeliers of the Grandview Hotel ballroom glittered, casting a warm glow over Lauren's charity gala. I stood near the stage, smoothing my simple dress. For months, I'd helped plan the silent auction, but my name was nowhere in the program. "It's cleaner this way," Lauren had said. As the guest speaker, a noted philanthropist, approached the podium, I moved to greet him. Suddenly, Lauren's hand clamped around my wrist, her nails biting my skin. She leaned in, her perfume suffocating. "Stay quiet tonight," she whispered, her voice a sharp blade. "Don't ruin things. Just blend in." Humiliation, hot and familiar, flooded me. Before I could speak, the speaker tapped the microphone. "Our deepest thanks," he began, "goes to a visionary donor." He paused. "To Paula Carter." The room buzzed with polite curiosity. Carter. My maiden name. I hadn't used it in a decade, not since marrying Ben. My heart thudded strangely. The speaker continued, "This anonymous donor, under the name Paula Carter, has fully funded the new youth community wing." A wave of applause rose. I stood frozen, completely blindsided. I had donated what I could, a modest sum. Not this. I felt a stare burning into me. I turned. Lauren was looking at me, her face a mask of perfect composure crumbling into sheer, pale shock. Her eyes were wide, her mouth slightly open. She looked as if she'd seen a ghost. My confusion deepened. Why was my old name being called? And why did she look terrified? As the applause died, Lauren was at my side in an instant. Her fingers dug into my elbow, steering me forcefully through the crowd with a fixed smile. We burst into a deserted hallway lined with coat racks. The door swung shut, muffling the orchestra. She dropped my arm and whirled on me. "What is this?" she hissed, her composure gone. "Is this some pathetic cry for attention?" I shook my head, stunned. "Lauren, I have no idea what he's talking about. Don't play dumb with me." Her voice echoed off the walls. "This is exactly the kind of stunt you'd pull to undermine me." The injustice of it stole my breath. I had done nothing. "I swear to you, Lauren. I didn't do it." She studied my face, searching for a lie. Finding none, her anger mutated into something colder, more fearful. She took a step back. "Did you contact him?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. A chill went down my spine. "Contact who?" I asked. Her lips pressed into a thin, white line. She shook her head, refusing to say more. "Forget it." She straightened her gown, the familiar mask of control sliding back into place. "Just stay out of sight. Please." She walked back into the gala, leaving me alone in the quiet hallway, my mind racing. Who was him? I leaned against the cool wall, trying to steady my breathing. The name Paula Carter hung in the air. Pulling my phone from my clutch, I saw a missed call from an unknown number with my hometown area code. A voicemail notification glowed. With a trembling finger, I played it. "Paula? Paula Carter? This is Arthur Franklin. I was your father's business partner. It's urgent I speak with you. Please call me back." My father had passed 5 years ago. Mr. Franklin had faded from our lives. Why was he calling now? Just then, the hallway door opened. Lauren stood there, having doubled back. She'd heard the tail end of the message. Her face was stone. "Who was that?" she demanded. "It was Mr. Franklin," I said, my voice quiet. Lauren's eyes widened almost imperceptibly. "What does he want?" she asked, her tone dangerously level. "I don't know. He said it was urgent." I redialed the number, putting it on speaker. Mr. Franklin answered on the second ring. "Paula, thank you for calling back. I've been trying to reach you. Your father left something behind. Something important he set up for you." Lauren snatched the phone from my hand. "Mr. Franklin, this is Lauren. What is this about?" A pause on the line. "Lauren. Hello. This concerns a trust your father established. It's in Paula's name. The color drained from Lauren's face completely. That's impossible, she breathed. The car ride home was a tomb. Lauren had insisted on driving me, a faux gesture of care that was really a mobile interrogation. The silence was thick and heavy. Streetlights flashed across her stony profile. You need to hand over whatever it is, she finally said, not looking at me. For the family's image. For the charity. You don't understand how these things work. I stared out the window. This wasn't about fairness or our father's wishes. This was about control. My entire life, I had been the quiet supporter, the reliable shadow to her shining star. A deep, steady resolve began to form in my chest. Mr. Franklin asked me to meet him tomorrow to review the documents, I said softly. Lauren slammed the brakes, the car jerking to a stop at a red light. She turned to me, her eyes blazing. I met Mr. Franklin in his old, wood-paneled office the next morning. He was kind, his eyes gentle behind his glasses. He slid a folder across the desk. Your father was a dreamer, Paula. But he was also a shrewd planner. This, he tapped the folder, is the Carter Community Trust. He built it with royalties from his old inventions. His dream was a hands-on life skills program for teens. I opened the folder. The legal documents were clear. The trust's controlling rights, the authority to direct its funds and purpose, were left to me. Paula Carter. Not Lauren. Why me? I whispered. Mr. Franklin sighed. He said you had the empathy for the people it was meant to help. He saw your heart. He worried Lauren saw the charity only as a stage. The pieces snapped together with a shocking clarity. The donation announced at the gala was the trust's annual charitable disbursement. My father had instructed it to be made anonymously in the trust's name, which was essentially mine. Lauren must have discovered the trust existed and had been trying to access its funds for her gala, hitting a legal wall. When the speaker said Paula Carter, she thought I had finally beaten her to it. Were there attempts to access it? I asked. Mr. Franklin's expression grew grave. He opened another file. Several, over the last 3 years. All were blocked because they lacked the required authorization, your signature. He showed me the records. The login attempts, the formal requests, all linked to the charity's administrative office. Lauren's office. I left Mr. Franklin's office with the documents in my bag, a new weight to my steps. It wasn't just sadness I felt, it was a clear, calm anger. My sister had tried to steal my inheritance, our father's legacy. I decided then I would not confront her with tears or accusations. I would be strategic. I requested a formal, private meeting with the charity's board of directors, citing a matter concerning a major donor. I wore my best blazer, practiced my words, and brought copies of the trust paperwork. I was no longer just Lauren's quieter sister. I was Paula Carter, trustee. The board listened intently. I presented the facts, the trust, its purpose, my legal role, and the concerning unauthorized access attempts. I was calm, precise, and unemotional. When I finished, the board president, an elderly woman named Eleanor Vance, removed her glasses. We were aware of the trust, she said slowly. But we were told the trustee was unreachable. We've been waiting for someone to finally come forward and clean this up. A ripple of relief went through me. I wasn't an interloper. I was the missing piece. After the meeting, I began noticing the whispers. At the grocery store, a woman from the Charity League looked at me with pity. Poor Paula, I overheard. Lauren says she's having a hard time, trying to sabotage the gala's success out of jealousy. The old me would have crumbled. Instead of crumbling, I started a file on my laptop. I documented every whisper, every sideways glance, with dates and contexts. It was my shield. A few days later, a new email popped up in my personal inbox. The subject line was, "For the record." Attached were screenshots of a private chat group. The messages were from Lauren, telling her inner circle I was unstable, bitter since Dad died, and trying to steal credit for her work. My heart sank, but then I saw the sender's address. It belonged to Maggie, Lauren's former assistant, a woman who had left the charity abruptly months ago. The email body was brief: "She's lying. And she's meeting someone tomorrow to make her lies stick." The next afternoon, I sat in a corner booth at a cafe across town, a hat pulled low. Right on time, Lauren walked in with a man in a slick suit I didn't recognize. They took a table 2 over from me. I pretended to read a book, my blood roaring in my ears. I caught fragments. Narrative of a grieving, confused sister, protect the charity's reputation, manage her public breakdown. They were planning a PR campaign to paint me as the villain. A part of me wanted to stand up and scream. But I didn't. I finished my tea, paid my bill, and walked out silently. I didn't go home. I drove straight to the law firm that represented the charity's board. I met with the board's attorney, a serious woman named Claudia Ross. I presented my evidence, the trust documents, the records of unauthorized access, and now, the screenshots of Lauren's defamation. As the legal trustee, I said, my voice steady, I am formally requesting a full, third-party review of all financial actions and fundraising proposals connected to the Carter Community Trust over the last 5 years. Claudia nodded, a hint of respect in her eyes. That is your absolute right. I'll file the request with the board immediately. All related accounts will be frozen pending the audit. It was a professional, powerful move. That evening, as I was making dinner, my front door flew open. Lauren stood there, her face twisted with rage. "How dare you," she shouted, storming into my kitchen. "You're embarrassing the entire family. You're destroying everything I built." I put down the knife I was holding calmly. "I'm protecting Dad's work, Lauren. The work you tried to take for yourself. It belongs to the family," she screamed. "To me. I'm the one who does the work. I'm the face of it. You were just supposed to help in the background." Finally, the truth was out in the open. "I'm not protecting your ego anymore," I said, my voice low and firm. "Get out of my house." She glared, trembling with fury. "You will regret this." She slammed the door so hard the pictures on the wall rattled. My phone chimed. An email from Claudia Ross. The subject line, audit update, urgent. I opened it. The first line read, "We found significant discrepancies." The discrepancies weren't illegal theft, but a severe breach of ethics. Lauren had been using the charity's general funds, and had tried to use the trust to pay for luxury expenses branded as donor outreach, high-end hotel stays, first-class travel, lavish dinners. She had also funneled money toward a pet project of her own, a vague image consulting firm run by a friend. The board was furious. At an emergency meeting, they voted unanimously to remove Lauren from all volunteer leadership positions. The news was kept quiet, but in our small social world, it was a tremor. I felt no joy, only a hollow sadness. The next day, Lauren posted a series of vague, emotional statements on social media. "When family betrays you, the price of jealousy is steep." Her posts went viral in our community. People I'd known for years looked at me with suspicion. Whispers grew louder. The old Paula would have hidden. The new Paula chose a different path. When asked directly, I responded with simple, calm facts. "I'm ensuring my father's charitable wishes are followed," I'd say. I didn't attack Lauren. I just didn't protect her lies anymore. Slowly, people began to talk to Maggie, to others who had left the charity. The narrative shifted. The board, seeing my calm handling of the crisis, asked if I would consider a temporary advisory role to help steer the community program my father had envisioned. I agreed. When Lauren found out, it was the final blow. She cornered me in the parking lot after a grocery run. The vibrant, polished woman was gone, replaced by someone pale and desperate. "You're trying to take my entire life from me," she spat, her voice cracking. "You're taking the one thing that made me matter." I looked at her, truly looked at her, perhaps for the first time. I'm not taking anything, Lauren. I'm simply accepting what was mine all along. You built your life on a foundation you knew wasn't fully yours. Her anger broke. Her shoulders slumped, and tears spilled over. He loved me more, she whispered, a wounded child's confession. He had to. Why would he give it to you? In that moment, I didn't see my tormentor. I saw my shattered sister. The board scheduled a public donor appreciation event to reintroduce the community program under its new direction. I was asked to say a few words. The night before, as I practiced my speech focused on my father's vision, my phone buzzed relentlessly. Dozens of messages from Lauren. Old childhood photos of us with captions like "Remember when you were my shadow?" Screenshots of my teenage diary entries, filled with insecurities. A final text, "You'll always be the weak one. You'll freeze on that stage." My hand shook. But instead of crying, I took a deep breath. I blocked her number. I deleted the messages. An hour later, Eleanor Vance from the board called. "Paula, I've heard from a concerned source. Your sister is planning to cause a scene tomorrow. She's bringing supporters." The event was held in the community center my father had loved. The room was packed. I took a seat in the front row, my heart a drum in my chest. I saw Lauren near the back entrance, surrounded by a small cluster of her loyal friends. Her eyes were cold marbles fixed on me. The same guest speaker from the gala took the podium. He spoke about philanthropy with heart. Then he said, "Tonight, I have the privilege of sharing a message from the donor who inspired this new beginning. A man who believed in someone's quiet strength." He unfolded a letter. The room fell silent. Lauren straightened, a smug look on her face, assuming this would be a generic tribute she could claim. The speaker's voice filled the room. "To my dearest Paula," he read. A gasp went through the crowd. He continued, my father's words echoing. "If you're hearing this, I am gone. And you are finally stepping into the light. I have watched your quiet compassion, your genuine care for people when no one is applauding. You have the heart this work requires. The trust is yours because you understand its soul. You will not use it for glory, but for good. I am so proud of the woman you are." Tears streamed down my face freely. I saw Lauren in my periphery, her hand over her mouth, her face bone white. The speaker finished, "This is why the revitalized program will be named, in perpetuity, after the woman he believed in. The Paula Carter Foundation." The room erupted in applause, warm and sustained. People turned to me, smiling, nodding. The approval was for me, for my father's choice, for the truth. I saw Lauren push through the crowd, a look of utter devastation on her face. She fled through the back doors. I excused myself and followed. I found her outside, slumped on a concrete bench under a streetlight, sobbing uncontrollably. I approached slowly. She didn't look up. "Without it," she choked out, her voice raw. "Without the charity, the title. I'm nothing. I'm no one." Her entire identity had been the spotlight. Now, it was dark. I sat beside her, the night air cool. I felt no desire to kick her while she was down. The victory was hollow if it meant destroying a human being. "You're not nothing, Lauren," I said quietly. "But you built yourself on a title, not on substance. You can rebuild. You're smart and driven. But it has to be real this time. You can't build on lies." She looked at me, stunned through her tears. She expected condemnation, not a lifeline. "Why would you help me?" she whispered. "After everything?" I sighed. "Because you're my sister. And because this was never about me beating you. It was about me finally standing up." We sat in silence for a long moment. The sounds of the event inside were muffled. When she spoke again, her voice was small, stripped bare. "I was always jealous of you," she admitted, staring at her hands. "People liked you. Really liked you. Not because you chaired committees, but because you were kind. Dad would light up telling stories about the little things you did. I had to achieve something grand just to get the same smile. She took a shuddering breath. Keeping you small, it made me feel bigger. If you stayed in the background, my light looked brighter. I was so scared you'd outshine me. It was the most honest thing she'd ever said to me. I didn't say, I forgive you instantly. Some hurts run too deep for quick fixes. But I said, I hear you. That was a start. I took the advisory role, which later became a co-director position. The Paula Carter Foundation thrived, true to my father's dream. I earned respect, not by force, but by integrity. Lauren stepped back from public life. She sold her big house, started seeing a therapist, and quietly began a small, genuine consulting business. Our relationship was cautious, distant, but the war was over. I learned that the loudest power isn't in the shout that silences others. It's in the quiet voice that finally speaks its truth. I didn't need revenge. I only needed the truth. And once the truth came out, everything else collapsed on its own.